Hi guys, I have my notes again, and it's funny. I write notes and I don't always understand them, so I'm just going to wing it and see how this goes. Today, I want to talk about how my book series, which this is the latest one, Devil and His Legacy, about George Hernandez and a bunch of criminals. If you don't know my books, go to mimaonfire.com. I talk about them there. I show the entire series. I show all my books, actually. You can go on Amazon, read the first chapter, all that good stuff, and you can watch other videos because I talk about all this stuff. Like, I've had over 100 videos. It's pretty much all covered now. Anyway, so the concept behind the entire series, and if I was smart, I'd have all the books here to show you, but I don't. So anyway, look them up. It's okay. It's okay. The concept behind the series, and I've mentioned before how there's a lot of reference to animals, there's a lot of, and the devil, both of which are kind of mentioned in the title. And, very early on in my, I think it was the second book in the series, yes, Always Be a Wolf, I kind of started talking about, and the characters, I should say, started talking about how you have a choice in this world. People will probably disagree, but you can be a sheep or you can be a wolf. Kind of seems extreme, and it probably is. But sort of the idea behind what they were talking about is that we live in a world where there's a lot of people who are sheep. They go along with whatever they're told. And which is not their fault. We're kind of, it's a society where it's almost encouraged a lot. You go work for certain companies, especially big corporations. This may help me to never get a job with a big corporation, but okay, yeah, you go to, there's a lot of corporations, you gotta follow what they want to the rule. There's almost like they tell you how to think, how to be. And I've seen this in different companies. I've worked for companies where they kind of to a point, and it was like, okay, that's fair. And then I've worked for companies was like, oh, this is a little much. Do you want to own my life too? This is a little much. And so for that reason, we're kind of trained that we have to be sheep, right? And I'm not saying everyone's like that, and I'm not a cult leader or anything trying to start something, but we are encouraged to kind of toe the line, to keep in place, whether it be from religion or family or, again, where you work. We're kind of always told to kind of not be certain ways or to be certain ways. And it's, I don't know, I find it very discouraging. I find it frustrating. A lot of people do, and you see a lot of people acting out and kind of, the hell with this. So the idea behind these books is that these are people who don't do that. They don't do that. They won't do that. And I think that's why people connect with them. And just sort of being free thinkers. And in my books, I bring up a lot of conspiracy theories, and it might be a little crazy for some people, but I bring it up not because I think that's how the world is. I bring it up because I want people to think about it, to think about what's going on outside their little world, what's going on outside of what's going on in their lives in that particular day. What's the big picture? You're having a bad day at work because of this little situation. Well, what's really going on here? Okay, you're having an argument with a coworker, but what's this really about? And where's that come from? And usually these things are much bigger than we think. Am I getting way off topic? I could be. Anyways, so the concept behind my series is that people have to sort of think for themselves, and they have to kind of question things, which happens a lot in these books. And one of the ideas behind it, and at one point George Hernandez, the main character, I guess you could say, the protagonist, was talking about getting into politics, and it's very scary, some of the things he says, because they're true. That basically if you get up there and you're powerful and you say what people want to hear, and you relate and you try to connect on an emotional level with some people, and then he kind of has it down to a science, and it's a little scary because that happens. We see politicians doing that. And so my point in writing these books really is to kind of make people stop and think, is this really happening out there? And not to say everybody's evil and out to get you or anything like that, but you have to kind of enter the world with your eyes open. And I'm not saying I catch on to everything that's going on or that I'm always right, but I always like to hear those conspiracy theories. Even if they seem a little far-fetched, I like to kind of, it's interesting. Or, could that be true? And sometimes they're just batshit crazy, and I know that. But then there's other times there's something to them. And I think as a writer, that's one of the things that I really like doing. I like people to kind of open their eyes. But I also like people to be able to jump in and say, if I was in that situation, I'd want to do what George Hernandez does. And of course you can. It's a fantasy, right? You can't, if you have a problem with somebody, you can't throw them out a window or whatever. I mean, you can, but you probably shouldn't. You really shouldn't. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, I think people love sort of living through their characters that they're reading about. And I think it's fun. I mean, it's fun. As long as it's kept in a fantasy world, once again. I'm just looking at my notes here again. I don't really understand them, but I think I pretty much explain what the concept is behind this series. And I think it's important to have something sort of, in if you're a writer and you're starting out, you may not even know what it is until you're ass deep into it and you're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Okay, this is why I'm doing it like this, and this is why I'm making these points. Any book you read where you see some very strong points that are standing out to you, whether it's fiction or not, they're there for a reason. The author wants you to see them or consider them. So anyway, I've been rambling way too long. It's almost 7 minutes. I try to keep the videos under 7 minutes. At one time, I could barely get past 2 minutes without choking because I was so scared to talk, but I'm getting obviously a little too much, I should say, comfortable doing this. That's it, guys. That's all I have for today. Go to Mima on Fire to learn more about my videos and everything that's going on. Just check out my social media, all that fun stuff. Anyway, have a great day. Bye-bye.